Metallica's Creeping Death is one of the most iconic thrash metal songs ever written, and it's got a ton of super fun riffs. By the end of this video, you'll know all of those riffs, and you'll be able to play through the entire song. We are going to be in E standard tuning. If you want to match the record, it's going to be slightly sharp, 447 Hz, and we're going to be in the key of E minor. Let's kick things off with the intro riff. It'll sound like this. We're going to start that intro riff off with 5 down picks of that palm muted open E string. The whole song is going to be down picked. Then we're going to grab the 7th fret power chord on the A string. Let that one ring out for the whole measure. You're going to hit those 5 down picks again, followed by the power chords 7 to 5 on the A string. Then the riff changes up a little bit when the harmonies kick in. We're going to hit those same chords, but on beat 3 of every other measure, you're going to hit the same power chord again and then mute it. At the end of the intro, right before the main riff kicks in, we have this little extra measure. We're just going to hit the 5th fret E string power chord down to the 3rd fret E string power chord. And then you're going to keep your pinky on that 5th fret A string, grab the 2nd fret of the E string and hit those two. Which brings us into the main riff, which will sound like this. We're going to start this one off with 2 palm mutes of that low E string. And then with your index finger, you're going to grab the 2nd fret of the A and the D string. When you're hitting those, you want to develop a little bit of a hop in your right hand. So when you're palm muting, you're down on the strings. And then when you hit the A and the D strings, you jump up just a tiny bit to release that palm mute. You do that pattern one more time and then another time with just one of those E strings. For the second measure, starts the same. Then we hit 1 palm muted open E string, followed by 2 to 3 on the A string. And then we're going to have this hammer-on pull-off combo. You're just going to pick that first 2, and then you're going to hammer to 3, pull off to 2, and then pull off to open, all on the A string. A little bit slower, it'll sound like this. Before we get into our next riff, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Enya Music. You guys may have seen me using their guitars in some of my other videos. I think they're really cool and innovative. This one here is the Enya Inspire. And back here we have the Sonic JT. Both of these are carbon fiber builds, so they're really resilient to any kind of weather or temperature fluctuations. And they both have a built-in amp and speaker, so you can play them anywhere you want without having to worry about plugging into an amp or anything like that. You just charge them up with a USB-C cable, just like your phone, and they last for quite a few hours. I like to leave one chilling down on my couch, so when I'm hanging out or just relaxing, if I have a riff idea, I can quickly grab one of these and get that riff down before I forget it. They are running a Christmas sale right now until December 25th, where you can get up to 25% off their guitars. I'll link them in the description, and they sound pretty sick. Now let's get back to the video and check out our next riff. We've got this sort of bridge riff that comes right after the main riff. It sounds like this. Pretty straightforward. All you gotta do is palm mute that open E string twice, followed by a 3rd fret power chord. Do that one more time. Then 2 more palm muted open E strings, followed by that 2nd fret on the E string, a palm muted power chord there. You're gonna down pick it 6 times. A little slower, it'll sound like this. We're also going to have this little transitionary couple of measures that comes in after the main riff sometimes. Pretty straightforward. It just starts out with an open E string power chord. You hold that out for 3 measures, and then we just hit the power chords 2 to 4 on the A string, and then 2nd fret on the low E. You're going to repeat those riffs a few times, and then we're going to get into our chorus riff, which will sound like this. For this one, we're going to start out with just an open E string power chord. Then we're going to hit 3 palm muted low E strings, followed by a 3rd fret power chord on the A string. Then move that up to a 5th fret power chord on the A string, followed by an 8th fret power chord. Then we're going to go down to a 7th fret power chord on the A string. You're also going to hit the low E along with it. The riff stays the same up through here. But then we're going to hit the power chords 8 to 10 on the A string. Every other time you play through the riff, instead of hitting that 8 to 10 power chords, at the end of it, you're going to hit the 2 to 4 power chords on the A string, followed by a 2nd fret power chord on the E string, right before it gets back into our main riff. When the solo kicks in, we're going to have this cool variation of the main riff. The first 2 measures are just the main riff, and then the second 2 measures change up, have a little variation to it. It'll sound like this. For that, we're just going to palm mute that open E string twice, followed by hitting the 2nd fret of the D and G. Do that one more time, and then again with just one open E string. Second measure starts the same as that. Let that last chord ring out a little bit, and then we're going to grab 3rd fret power chord on the A string. A little bit slower, it'll sound like this. Then we get into the breakdown, also known as the die riff. If you guys haven't seen any videos of them playing this live with Jason Newsted, I would definitely recommend checking that out. He does an awesome job with the backing vocals for this track live. So the breakdown riff will sound like this. For this one, we're going to start out with the 7th fret power chord on that A string. The very first time at the start of the riff, you're also going to hit the open E string along with it. Then we're just going to palm mute that low E string 4 times, followed by the power chords on the A string 8 to 5, and then back to the 7th fret A string power chord, 4 more palm muted low E strings, and then the power chords 10 to 8 on the A string. And it loops around from there. This riff has a really cool Phrygian feel to it because of that flat 2 there on that 8th fret of the A string. Now we're getting into our outro section. If you guys are still with me, let me know in the comments what song you want me to do a full video like this for next. Our first outro riff will sound like this. For this riff, it starts the same as the main riff, but you let that last chord there hold out for 3 beats of the next measure. Then you hit it 2 more times. Second half of this riff changes up a little bit. The last chord in the first measure is going to be 3rd fret instead of 2nd. And then at the end of the measure, you're just going to hit that open A string power chord 2 times. A little slower, it'll sound like this. Then we get into outro riff 2, which sounds like this. We're going to start this one off with 2 palm mutes of that low E string. You're just going to do that the very first time the riff starts, not on the loop. And then we just hit the power chords 7, 5, 3, 2 on the A string. Keep in mind the 3, 2 are going to be a little faster. Those are 8th notes. And then we're going to hit the power chords 3 to 2 on the A string, followed by the open A string and a 3rd fret A string power chord. Then we just have the very end of the song, starts on the power chords 5 to 3 on the E string. Then we do that little transitionary part again where we grab down to the 2nd fret while keeping our pinky on the 5th fret of the A string, followed by the open E power chord. You can let that ring out or tremolo pick it a bit until the very end of the song where we just hit that open E string power chord 2 times. That's the whole song. Nice job if you got all those riffs down. And if you want to download the guitar tone that I used in the video, consider checking out my Patreon page. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great one.